Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you with another edition of Stout Sunday. And joining me this morning, we have Michael Kormeroff up in Brooklyn.
Good morning.
We have Ronald. Good morning, Michael. We have the one, the only, Mr. Ronald J. Terrio, Louisiana Russian Imperial Stout Reviews. Morning, Ron.
Hello,
and we
morning.
have Robert, the Whiskey Scout from the great state of Kansas. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Michael Kormeroff, what are you drinking this morning?
I made a trip to Trader Joe's earlier in the week, and this is one of their bargain beers. It's called Bosun, even though it looks like it's spelled Boatswain. Chocolate stout at 5.4%, and it's brewed with cocoa powder, and it's made, I believe, in Monroe, Wisconsin. I think Rhinelander still brews it for them.
That's right.
Contract brewed for Trader Joe's only.
All right. All right, Ronald, what are you drinking this morning?
Well, I was at Martin Wine Cellar and I wasn't sure what stout to buy, but I got the old standby, the old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout from North Coast Brewing in California. 9% alcohol. This company's been in business for 32 years, so we know the beer's not older than 32 years, you know.
Right.
And it says a certified B corporation. I don't know what that means, B. I guess they start all their sentences with B.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what that means.
Certified B corporation. That is bizarre to me.
All right. Robert, the Whiskey Scout, what are you drinking this morning?
Well, it comes from Chicago, Illinois. It's from Off Color Brewing. It's the Coffee Dino S'mores.
Wow.
It's just an interesting little label, but it's got all kinds. It lists completely the ingredients. It's 10.5% alcohol by volume. Gravity is 23 Plato. IBUs are 40. Malt, pale Vienna, wheat, Cora 2, extra special flaked oats, dark chocolate, black roasted barley. Hops is nugget. Secret ingredients is marshmallow, vanilla bean, molasses, graham cracker flour, graham flour, cocoa nibs, something I can't pronounce, Karima AA coffee from Kenya. So it's got a whole bunch of flavors in there.
All right. I have had the regular Dino S'mores, but I've never had the coffee one, so it'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. Okay, yes, Craig, Ron does have a good one. The Old Rasputin is a classic, and if you like stouts and you haven't had the Old Rasputin, you definitely need to get on it. Speaking of Russian Imperial Stouts, though, I've got one that I'm very excited about. This is from Cigar City Brewing. I've never seen any of their specialty beers, really, before the other day. This is the Marshal Zhukov's Russian Imperial Stout. It's 11.8%. and 70 IBU, so this is a beast right here. So we'll see how this one stacks up. Thanks to everybody in the chat: Craig, Jeremy, Blake. Thanks for tuning in, Ronnie S. as well. I don't know where Jean-Pierre is, Ronnie S., but he might still be recovering from the other day. I don't know.
You saw that?
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, I watched a lot of the playback of that. That was very interesting. Drewski's made an appearance as well. I noticed that was very interesting.
I knew when the Jim Beam bottle came out, there would be trouble.
Right.
He had one in each hand, I think.
I ended up deleting that video because I said, it's not even worth having this. I gave 3 chances at the plate, and there's 3 strikes, you're out. So that's the end of that. That's the pass now.
Yeah.
And he knows that.
You tried.
Yeah, he didn't even make any bad comments last night because he knew. He just said, "Oh, hey guys, how's it going?"
He did
Right.
review the Coors Banquet successfully before he brought out the Jim Beam. So I guess that
I noticed he likes that Coors Banquet. Yeah, he did his best to refrain from profanity, but the alcohol just it wouldn't let him do it.
No,
Um,
and I just I don't want to deal with it anymore. It's just insanity, you know.
you just had your button at the ready. You knew there was a chance there was going to be trouble.
I definitely knew that, you know, it would be trouble.
Oh,
And I try to be inclusive, you know, let everybody join, but there has to be some control, you know.
right.
yeah, we don't have that. There's no control button. He has no filter and no stop button. He just his only stop button is when he falls out of the chair. Then you know he's done.
Hey, well, yeah, nobody can say I didn't try, so
That's right. Kudos to you for trying there. All right, let's go ahead and get into these beers. I'm thirsty. It's Sunday morning. I'm ready to roll here. We'll start with Michael Kormaroff.
Okay, I'll
and
show
his Bosun chocolate.
It's Bosun chocolate stout from Monroe, Wisconsin, and Trader Joe's brand. And this is what it looks like in the glass. Very dark brown.
yeah.
A beige thin head, foamy head. Let me get the nose on it. You can actually smell the cocoa powder.
Yeah, right, Jerry.
You can smell the cocoa powder that's in it, which I guess since it's the ingredient they're advertising on the can, makes sense that you can. What else am I getting? Kind of like beside the cocoa powder, you're getting kind of a chocolate kind of feel from the cocoa powder, I think. A little bit of roasted malts, but the roasted malts are in the background. I think your chocolate and cocoa powder are your main noses that I'm getting. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Michael.
Cheers.
Okay. All right, I'm getting the cocoa flavor in the beer. It's a little bit on the watery side. It's 5.4. I would like it to be a little bit more substantial than it is, but the taste is nice. I mean, you're getting a chocolate kind of feeling in the taste, and it's pretty solid chocolate, but it's not sweet chocolate. Again, it's more along the baker's chocolate kind of feel. It's medium mouthfeel, but it's a little bit thin in that when you're actually tasting it, it's kind of like like I mentioned, a little wateriness, but the taste is fine. 5.4, it is drinkable. And the best part about these Trader Joe's beers, I bought a 6-pack of this, and it was $4.99. So when you think about the cost, it's costing you 83 cents for this beer. It's very well priced for what you're getting.
Right.
Nice lacing along the side. I'll mull over it, and I'll have a number for you shortly.
All right. Sounds good. I don't think I've actually ever had that one. I've had a lot of course, the Simpler Times Lager, the ale, the specialty beers that we were talking about from Unibrew, but I don't think I've actually had the Bosun Chocolate Stout, so I'm going to have to try that. My favorite, actually, Michael, if you haven't had it before, next time you go to Trader Joe's, look for their HLV, their heavy lift vessel. It's a strong ale. I think it's 7 or 7.5. It's really, really good.
I'll have to try it.
Joke. That is a great one, and it's cheap too.
Yeah, I know. You can't beat the price on those 6-packs. Plus, you can do make your own 6-pack and all of that. So it's a great deal for sure. All right, so Mr. Terrio, tell us about the Old Rasputin.
All right, this is like I said, 9% alcohol, 75 IBUs. Think about this day and age. We got Imperial Stouts got more IBUs than most India Pale Ales.
Yeah, that's true.
which would appeal to some people that don't like bitterness. So it's kind of like you change what something is to appeal to people that don't like what it is. Like
Right.
you, like say you got a television show that's about disco music, and people say, "Well, I don't like disco. I don't like disco." So then you change the disco show where they don't have dancing, but you still call it a disco show. You know, so I don't know. I think about these things a lot. You know, IPAs that aren't IPAs to appeal to people that don't like IPAs. Yeah, I drank enough fruit salad yesterday to really get under my skin and get me on edge. Let me tell you. Okay, I'm gonna try to calm down, stop ranting about it. But I like talking about those kind of things. You know, it makes it interesting, really.
Right.
Like styles that aren't the style. I could go deeper. I could go way deeper. Believe me, I got some great ideas.
We know. We're aware.
I got great ideas. I've tried. You can see how dark it is with the head with thicker. I've tried the barrel age Old Rasputin bourbon barrel age. I didn't like it. Sometimes more is not better. Okay, we always think it is like, oh, more alcohol, more, bourbon is better. It is, but it doesn't always work out. This one is roasty, dark roasted coffee, chocolatey in a way, coffee in a way, but it's dark roasted barley malt is what it is. There's a little touch of metallic. No, it doesn't use pennies in the brew, but sometimes the way they roast them, they'll come across like a metallic, strange taste. Mouthfeel is, well, kind of heavy. It's velvety, also smooth. Bitterness is in the acridness. You know what I'm saying? The dark roasted is bitterness. Like dark roasted coffee would be bitter. There's no real what you would call hop bitterness, like I was ranting about India Pale Ales as they used to be, to my preference. But it's not cigarette ash. It's not overly roasted. It's like I say with many of the good ones, they go to the tipping point and it doesn't taste burnt. And North Coast Brewing knows what they're doing. They can roast it to tea. Sort of a powdery dry finish. I guess there would be people that wouldn't like this style of beer. Oh, and there's cream too, like coffee and cream. I just don't understand why they wouldn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that they wouldn't. I just can't understand why they wouldn't. But then I know some people like eggplant. I don't like it. That doesn't make me. See? He's already thinking. You might not want to be, but I just don't like it. It's slimy, but I like okra, and other people can't stand okra.
Oh, I like fried okra. I can eat that by the gallon.
This beer is really good, and I think I'd like to get some heavy whipping cream and pour it in it. I'm not saying that to be flip or sarcastic. I really mean that. I'm going to get some.
No, I mean it would actually probably complement the beer pretty well.
It just so happens by sheer coincidence that I have.
Oh wow!
So it's funny how it works out.
This is the first, guys, that I've ever seen. Now you got your lactose stout. Stirred up good.
Okay, that's it. I'll drink on it and think on it.
Call that
all right.
Call that a cuvee.
A cuvee, right?
Jeremy made an interesting comment. We were talking about beers changing up stuff, kind of like any cable network channel nowadays. History shows nothing on history. MTV doesn't play music, and there's no arts or entertainment on A&E. And then I threw in the Travel Channel only shows paranormal stuff now on their network for some reason.
Oh yeah, that's very good. That's some very good observations Jeremy's making.
I'm with you, John. I hate Travel Channel. I used to be one of the main channels
I used to
watched
love it.
2 years ago.
They used to have all the travel shows going, trying food and stuff
Yeah.
from all over the world. And literally now all they play on the Travel Channel is paranormal, caught on camera, ghost adventures. Like that's literally all they play is paranormal ghost stuff.
That one guy that used to travel, the only travel they had was the one guy that went looking for stuff that
Expedition Unknown, and that was a decent. Yeah,
I guess that's because people that like to travel are interested in ghosts. I mean, I
guess travel and ghosts just. I mean, I like listening about the paranormal stuff because of the history that's involved with it. But as far as like the Travel Channel making that the main focus of their network now, it's a little ridiculous when you think about it.
It's stupid.
Anyway, we'll get into that more later, but we still have to go to Robert the Whiskey Scout with his Dino S'mores Coffee Edition.
It originally poured with about a half of a finger chocolate head that's since dissipated, but it still has a lot of effervescence. It still is bringing a lot of bubbles up from underneath. I mean, it's a lot more carbonated than I kind of expected, to tell you the truth, because it's getting that. You can see the oils on top I think it's from anytime I get a coffee stout, a lot of times you can see the oils on the very top of the heavy beer. And it creates that shimmering effect that you often get. You can't see through it. It's thick as night. And on the initial smell, you do get it's heavily coffee forward. But then there's a background sweetness, and I had to read the ingredients again, even after I read them, to understand what it is. It's molasses. Now, as a young man once, we ran out of all sweetener in the house for the coffee. And my wife's from Louisiana, and she makes coffee that you can stand a spoon up in. So it's like super thick. It's more like syrup. So I like to add a little bit of sweetness to bring that bitterness down a little bit. We didn't have nothing left but molasses, and I put a little molasses in the coffee. Was a mistake. I would tell you right now, was a mistake I never repeated. But I tried it. And this has given me some of the same nose that I remember. But then you get the vanilla. The vanilla starts to come through as it warms up in the glass. Those are the main three things. Again, I'm not really, maybe just a hint of chocolate on the nose, but it's mainly coffee, that molasses, just a bit of vanilla. Let's go in for the taste.
Cheers.
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 Now, it does bring a nice sweetness to it. That may be the marshmallow coming through here. Bringing it down a little bit. Coffee, the chocolate really shows up in the palate. Oh, now this is a transition one. I like this. It's going from coffee and a little chocolate. The vanilla bean is starting to come in now. And a little breadiness, little dark bread, that dark breadiness. I'm not getting a lot of the roasted malts in this, because it's hard to judge the roasted malt effect when you got so much coffee and other craziness going on in something like this. It tends to hide it. If you've already added chocolate, you've already added coffee, roasted coffee, that's covering up any of the malts in this case for this one. But this is how did I put it that last time? This is dessert for breakfast. It's not overly sweet, though. There is enough bitterness to balance it. But it's like a chocolate breakfast drink or chocolate coffee. If Starbucks was to make something, it'd be similar to this. They were to make a stout. I could see this being like something from Starbucks.
They could actually label that a breakfast stout, and that's kind of like based on the description you give it.
Exactly. And what they do call it is an Imperial Coffee Marshmallow Stout is the official. I don't know if that'll pick it up, but those top words there, I don't think it's going to focus in on it. But it's an Imperial Coffee Marshmallow Stout. It's what they list it as. But yeah, The marshmallow doesn't bring a whole lot of flavor to anything. You know, they're kind of light in flavor, but they do add a lot of sweetness. But the bitterness, the molasses has a sweet, slightly bitter flavor sometimes. To me, dark molasses does, and it really shows up in the nose, but in the palate, there's enough marshmallow, I think, in there to take some of that molasses flavor and subdue it some. That's crazy description, but that's what you get. I like it so far, so we'll go to you, Johnny boy.
Is it expensive?
Oh, you would ask that question. I don't remember. I bought that about 2 weeks ago, and I don't remember what I paid for it.
Okay.
I don't think it was more than like $3.
Okay, like my grandma
I
used to say.
had the original Dino S'mores, not the coffee version, and I think they sell them in 4-packs, and it was like $12.99 for the 4-pack I bought. But it's been a while since I've had it.
Well, $12.99 is $13 divided by 4 is $3.50, so I paid roughly $3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, not super cheap, but you're looking at a high alcohol, imperial stout, so probably price appropriate if it's a good beer.
Right.
All right, so we'll go to me here. I'm dying to get into this beer. So the Marshall Zhukov's Russian Imperial, 11.8, 70 IBUs. First, really crafty. Like I've only had Cigar City canned stuff, like the stuff you get everywhere. I've never seen anything like this before, so I was really excited to try it, especially after Michael was telling me how good the stout that he tried from Cigar City was. The honey poo or honey Hannapoo. All right, so it poured like motor oil, super viscous, black, can't see through it at all. It did pour with about a finger's worth of a beige head, which I poured it, probably 10 minutes ago or so, and it's still got a little bit of head retention there on that little thin film of head sticking around. The aroma, there's a lot going on with this aroma. Dark chocolate, super roasty. I'm picking up on coffee notes. I know there's not coffee added to this, but because of how roasty this is, I'm getting coffee on the nose. If you blindfolded me and just poured this in a glass and asked me to tell you what I thought, the first thing that really would come to mind is that this is a barrel-aged beer. It's got like it's almost got a barrel-aged aroma to it. Maybe because of the malts they're using. I mean, it's super. I'm smelling oak. Maybe it's just because. I mean, I guess it's got to be coming from the roasted barley malt because there's nothing about oak. It's not wood aged at all. Maybe a little bit of molasses. Little toffee in there as well. I mean, there's just so much going on with the aroma here. Vanilla, definitely vanilla. The roastiness and the vanilla with the chocolate. I mean, it's just got that. It's got a bourbon barrel feel to it. The boozy. It doesn't smell like a session, but it doesn't smell really alcohol forward either. But it's just kind of somewhere in the middle. I would probably guess that maybe this would be an 8%er just by the aroma that I'm getting, but it is 11.8, so definitely getting up there. All right, I can't wait any longer here. I got to get into it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow. I like this better than the Old Rasputin because even though it's got 70 IBUs, it's a little bit more balanced between the bitterness and the malt, I think. It's got that barrel-aged note, chocolate, coffee, vanilla, caramel, more of a toffee. It's just so toasty, a lot of dark toasted bread notes in the middle of the sip. Holy cow, this is awesome.
Man, that sounds great.
Yeah.
It's super malty up front. Initially, you get that burst of malt and sweetness and breadiness, and then the 70 IBUs come into play to balance it out really nicely. The alcohol is not masked too well. I mean, but it's like a barrel-aged booziness. That's what it tastes like. I would tell you that this was barrel-aged 10 times out of 10. If you blindfolded me and just let me try this, I would guarantee you that this was barrel-aged just from the profile that I'm getting from this beer. Man, this is good stuff. I don't really know what else to say about it other than if you can find it, you need to try it. It was $10 for the bottle, which this is a let's see. This is a 22 ounce, so an official bomber size.
Ooh.
And man, it does say on the label it's brewed with 6 different specialty malts. That's why I'm getting so much complexity, I think, just from this beer, because of the 6 different malts that they're using. And one other thing, the coffee I mentioned on the aroma, it does have a touch of coffee just from the roasty character of the malts. But I mean, look at the head retention too for an 11.8%. It's just a good looking beer. Anyway, great stuff. I'll come back around with the rating in a few minutes. I want to go to the chat really quick. We got Friar Tuck in the chat this morning. I haven't seen Friar Tuck in a while. Good morning to you, Friar Tuck. He's drinking, I know he loves his Genesee. He's drinking a Genesee Springbok as he watches. Unfortunately, I can't get any of the specialty Genesee beers, but that sounds really good. Yes, Jeremy, definitely awesome. You should see if you can find it. And I'm going to look for the Hanapu as well, but I haven't had any luck with that. I've been looking for that one for a while because Michael was telling me how good that one was. And Ronnie, yeah, you're in Florida, so you probably have the best chance of anybody of finding this beer and some of the other craft stuff, or the really crafty bomber bottle stuff that they have. Okay. Let's see. We got to go back around now, starting with Michael Kormaroff and his Bosun Chocolate Stout.
Okay, I did not mention before. I do know the IBUs, and it's 66.
Wow.
For
okay.
a chocolate stout, I find 66 IBUs to be unusually high, but you don't get the same kind of bitterness in this kind of stout that you get in yours, John, or in Jay's, to my opinion, because I mean, there's some bitterness in here, but it doesn't seem to be 66, or the cocoa powder is covering up the bitterness. I mean, it could be, I guess, either thing. I am going to give this an 88, which is a B+. So it's an A+ for the price, but it's a B+ for the beer.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, yeah, it's hard to beat that 83 cents a can price point. That's interesting. I would have never guessed, though, from what I've heard about that beer, the IBUs, like it seems like you would get more bitterness just because of how high the IBUs are. But I guess because it's the way it's balanced with the malt and then the actual cocoa powder, just kind of maybe mutes it a little bit more.
So B+,
right.
B+.
B+.
Yeah, 88. Okay, Ronald Terrio, the Old Rasputin. I know that one's going to get high marks. It's a wonderful beer, and anybody that likes stout should definitely try it at least once.
Know, right? They say cream rises to the top, but it really does. Look.
Right. I'm interested to see your rating, or your original rating, and then the rating with the cream. Does it make it better? Because it doesn't look.
It's weird, you know. I was going to sip one, but I said, let me just let it set, see what happens. And I'm watching it, and the cream went all the way to the top like a layer. I said, wow, that's amazing, you know.
That's good. That's curdling.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's,
It look.
I try to restrict myself and not do any cuvées, but to everybody who does it, cool.
well, you know, I was saying how much the beer tasted like coffee and chocolate, so I figured probably would work. It would probably be a good combo. So this beer's an A+. Come on.
I've had it before. I agree with you.
98.
Yeah.
Easy.
Good.
With the cream, I guess it didn't go up in value or score, but it didn't hurt it, and it made it creamier. If you like creamy things, which I do, of course. Yeah, I like cream in coffee. I like cream cheese. I like all those type of items. So yeah, I like it. I mean, I wouldn't make a habit of doing this. I just figured it'd be something fun to do, and it was.
Yeah. Okay. So 98. It's going to be tough to beat, but Robert's beer sounds pretty good as well. So what are you thinking about the coffee Dino S'mores for a rating?
As it warms up, it actually gets better. And after I like the transitions. Anytime a beer transitions and the palate as it cascades over your palate and you go through the transitional phases, I enjoy that. Whether whiskey, beer, whatever. The ones that are one or two notes and they stay pretty much that through the system, they can be really good. I mean, because you're not getting anything different, but if you like the flavor profile, you know what you're getting each sip. With something like this, the flavor profile changes a lot. Now, I know it has to do because it's a flavored beer in this case, but like John mentioned, he had 6 malts. I counted the malts I listed off earlier on this. I think it was 9. And so I think, as John said, it does add a lot to the complexity and how your palate responds. So I'll just get to the point. I'm going to give it a 98 as well. I'm not going to go, the reason I don't go 99 or 100, probably just a little too sweet to make that next step up. I mean, it's got a nice balance in a way, but it's still just maybe a hair on the sweet side. And I like sweet things, so it's going to appeal to my palate probably more than some other people. But I think a 98, it's a solid 98 for me. I enjoy it. I could drink more. There's no issues. This is a damn fine beer. I mean, the stout, flavored stout.
Okay, that's awesome. The Dino S'mores, the one I tried, the regular one, I wasn't too impressed with it because I wasn't getting a lot of s'mores flavor. But that one sounds a lot better than the one I had. But it's been a while since I've had it. Maybe they updated the recipe and improved it.
Maybe the addition of the coffee helped. And, the chocolate's still not overbearing in this. The coffee is the primary. The coffee and the molasses and the sweetness, these are your primary things you're getting. The breadiness, you do get chocolate, but chocolate by no means. The vanilla is more prominent than the chocolate is in this. And the vanilla is nice. I mean, it's a good vanilla. So, yeah, I like 98. I think it's definitely worth $3 to $4 range for a beer. I mean, for a bottle, it's a buy at that range.
Right. Okay. Well, the more I drink on this, the more impressed I'm becoming. This is absolutely incredible. My descriptors really aren't even doing this beer justice. It's so complex. It's got so much depth of flavor, a lot of character. It's got the bourbon barrel-aged notes to it, even though it's not barrel-aged. It's got coffee. It's got toasted bread. It's got chocolate. It's got vanilla. It's got toffee. It's got just all kinds of layers going on here that really set this one over the top. It's balanced as well. It's not too boozy, 11.8%. It definitely doesn't taste like a session, but the alcohol is masked well considering what you're getting. And those 70 IBUs just balance it out beautifully. This is a 99 for me. This is about as good as it gets, guys. And I would recommend to any of you, if you can find this beer, buy it. It is definitely worth it.
That's not a name.
What's the number again?
99. It's a 99 for me.
Okay, 99 plus 98 plus 98, and Michael said 88 plus 88. About 4. So 95.75. So a 96 is the average. That's a good average.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't fuss about that.
William Blake's will
Blake,
be 100.
Blake
Yeah.
says vodka makes everything 100%.
Oh, Blake and his vodka.
I can't treat.
All right, man. We have gotten through all of the reviews, ratings. So before we go off air here, we've got a few announcements. I know tomorrow, Multi Monday on Bumpy Road Brewing, he's doing brown ales, American brown ales. And then, of course, we've got Wild Card Wednesday on Louisiana Beer Reviews, Wednesday night at 7:20 Eastern time, or between 7:20 7:30 Eastern.
Yes.
And are you doing Fandango Friday again this week, Ron?
I don't know. It's hard to plan those ahead of time, but it's provisional. You just never know about those kind of things. But Wildcard Wednesday, we try to really be dedicated to that. But
right, okay, all right. Anybody else have any final thoughts or announcements before we take it off air?
I have a show and tell moment. Is everybody ready?
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Can anybody else get Flying Dog?
Ooh, I cannot. Let me blow you up here so we can see that a little better.
Okay, this is out of Frederick, Maryland.
It's out of Maryland, you said?
Frederick is the city in Maryland. This is called Gonzo Imperial Porter. It's 10%.
Okay.
And Flying Dog, usually in the food co-op where I got this, they usually feature their IPAs, and they do make the obviously porters. They probably have a stout as well. The co-op never seems to have them. So when I saw this, we will see how it is, because it depends. 10% for a porter. We'll see what the mouth feels like and some of the other little side factors. Why is this a porter and not a stout? We'll have to decide when I drink it.
Right.
yeah, that's a big question sometimes.
You can make anything imperial with the alcohol. You wonder about what the mouthfeel is going to be like, what it's going to look like, and whatever. So
They're calling it a porter, so it's making me think that, even with the ABV being elevated like that, it's just not going to have the same body, the roastiness that you would get with a stout,
Right.
But I've had a few imperial porters, and they've been well done, well made. But that's the thing, the body. A lot of times the body doesn't really hold up. There's not enough body to support the high alcohol, which is why I think imperial porters are kind of a weird, just throw a little bit more roasted malt in there and call it a stout.
Right.
And then it would support the alcohol a little bit better as well. But I guess some people are into the thinner body boozy porters like that. I don't know. It's weird to me. But
all right. Well, I'll do a quick announcement too. Yesterday, my wife showed up at the house yesterday evening. She told me to go. She went to the store. She came back and she brought me a Modelo. That was Friday. I'm sorry, it's Friday. She did this, and she wouldn't let me look in the bag. She goes, "Go set up your review equipment." So I went and set everything up outside. We go outside, and she does this blind. We do a blind tasting of this. And I just released the video yesterday. I put it out yesterday, the review of it. So if you like peanut butter whiskey, it's only 30%. It's not, I call it more of a liqueur because it doesn't make the 40% mark. But it's interesting stuff. And it's entertaining. I don't know what I'm getting. Okay, yeah.
I love that stuff. I bought a bottle in Gatlinburg when I was on vacation in March. And I also bought some grape jelly moonshine and some blackberry moonshine, and I mixed. You mix a little bit of that with the peanut butter whiskey, and you got you a PB&J shooter. Good.
Well, if you want to see how my brain works, watch the video, because it doesn't start out. We wind up at peanut butter, unhelpful. She didn't do anything out of the blue. I do wind up at peanut butter, but the mental leaps I take to get to peanut butter all goes down. Okay, I'll just give you a little spoiler. When we have breakfast and I have pancakes, I put peanut butter on my pancakes and the maple syrup, and then put bacon on the side, and I'll even put maple syrup on the bacon. So this come across very breakfasty to me. It's the only time I eat peanut butter. I might have one peanut butter jelly sandwich a year, maybe. I just don't eat peanut butter otherwise. So you'll see my transitions as I go from everything that I'm getting. And I still stand by, I get a little maple syrup in that. I'll stand by that to the day I die. But there may not be anything in it. It may just be barrel interaction with the wood, maybe giving a little bit maple flavor. But anyway, it's an interesting video. I don't usually put myself and my videos out there like that, but this one was rather.
I saw that you had posted that. I didn't watch it because I'd never had the product, but
I love it, man.
You
That's
might
why
as well.
it was such a surprise. I wasn't expecting it to be so spot on with the peanut butter flavor. Like it doesn't really taste like whiskey to me. It just tastes like liquid alcoholic peanut butter. There's really no like.
Whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color contains peanuts. So they're adding some other stuff in there to help bring out that peanut buttery taste. But
yeah,
I go through some transitions. This because I was like, I didn't know what she bought. I really didn't. And you're trying not to feel like an idiot there, but the first smell went, whoa, this is like a liqueur. This is very sweet. And so you got to kind of go through this mental mathematics in your brain of, okay, I don't want to seem like an idiot, call this a bourbon and it's a scotch, or if it's a scotch and I call it a bourbon, because I had no idea what she bought. And so I'm trying to be, but I'm just going on.
So you actually did the video, did it blind. You didn't know what you were drinking at the time.
Yeah, I had no clue. I didn't even know she was going to do this. This was so out of the ordinary for her. The only time she goes into liquor stores is to get me and say, you're done. It's time to go. I'm tired of waiting in the car. That's the only time she ever goes into liquor stores. So for her to come back with that was rather eye-opening.
Right.
So anyway,
David Garlapede is now my friend on Facebook.
But yeah. Oh, that's good to know.
Still not your friend.
But I don't think he's coming on the broadcast any faster because he's my friend.
No, he'll become friends with people, but he doesn't want to do the broadcast. Just to get him to do the recorded videos was a big accomplishment. So he was saying, no, I don't want to do it, but
he likes to have the control over, like if he doesn't like the way it turns out, he just tells Ron, just delete that, Ron, get rid of it.
That's part of it probably. And just that, yeah, I actually don't know I don't know the actual answer why he doesn't do it, but I just assume he said he'll watch them sometimes. He'll make comments to me like, oh, I watched the video and who's this guy saying whatever, and I'll say, oh, that's so-and-so. He doesn't really come on much, whatever the context is, but he doesn't. He said, I don't post much on Facebook. I try to keep low profile and which is good, probably.
Yeah.
I don't, and get into trouble, but people are very funny and strange. I've run into some little incidents lately with people being funny and strange.
Right.
I'm not funny or strange. I try to shoot straight.
None of us are in our own mind.
You're not funny or strange in that way, but you are strangely funny though.
No, I mean I might be comical. Or whatever. But now, Robert, your wife was in that video, huh? That was kind of cool.
Yeah, she was in the video. It was her idea. This was all on her.
See? Nah.
My son even watched it.
No, what I mean is, I might be comical and say things that are silly and all, but I try to shoot straight with people. I'll give you an example. These people join Alcohol Legs, the Facebook group, and they're all gung ho. Oh yeah. which is fine. That's what it's about, right? You share your alcohol interests. But like a guy telling me about a month ago, oh man, I want to send you this beer, Tennant's beer, which I had no interest in. I said, well, I mean, don't worry about that. We don't get that here. So, I mean, that's a big expense and a lot of trouble to send me something. Oh no, I insist. It's no trouble and I want to do it. So, it's kind of like I'm being badgered. I don't really want to do it. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, just send me your address. I said, okay, so then he says, oh, thanks. I'm going to get it together soon. Okay. So I'll wait like a week, a week. This can be done in a day, right? You insist on it. A week goes by, I hear nothing. And I say, hey, you got the beer shipment? Oh yeah, well, there's a little problem with this and that. I'm trying to get a single of it. Working on it. I said, okay. So then finally at the
He's not the only one.
Look, these kind of things, they bug me to no end. So then it's like you're bothering me and you don't come through. So then finally at the end of May, oh hey, bud. Like, we're really friends, we hang out a lot. I said, okay, hey bud, I got it together. I'm gonna send it now. I said, okay, May 31st, I believe it was. So here we are. What is this? June 13th. Now I know England is far away, but I know it doesn't take 2.5 weeks to come from England, right? So I'm waiting, and I thought about that while we were doing the hangout. I'm like, what's going on with this beer that he insisted he had to send? So I sent him a message on Facebook today. I said, do you have a tracking number for that beer? Like, sure, it's very exciting. We know it's a very exciting shipment that we built up, or I should say you built up, and I should be getting it soon. So I went to see what he said. He blocked me. I'm thinking, wow, what a man.
Wow.
I'm so sick of dealing with sick maniacs on the internet. And I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong in that, because do I ever badger people to send them beer? No, I do not. However, in the past, I have sent beer, and guess what? I got their address, and guess what happened next?
You sent it.
I sent it, and they got it. Not a difficult thing. I'm tired of people coming to me, and they're all like fanboy gung-ho, and they're going to do all these things, and then nothing happens, And Jeremy, that's right, sick maniacs. It's like, I don't know who you are, okay? But if you sit, and I'm telling you, don't I say this in my videos all the time? Don't bother to send me beer. It's a big expense, and it takes a lot of time. And I have a bunch of beer I can get here. I'm not going to run out of beer selections in Louisiana. This has happened. I bet you this has happened 5, 6 times now, but the first time was too many. I need to start a policy. Just don't send me beer unless you're a big company or something. They always send it. The companies always send it.
Yeah.
But these people that you don't know that are like super fanboy, you can't trust them. They're full of bull crap.
Yeah. It's fun though doing it with people that like Robert's was showing the box. We've sent each other beer mail before. Drunken One actually sent me beer mail a week ago, but it never arrived. And the United States Postal Service, really, they've been really terrible lately. The package I got from Brian was beat up so badly. I did my unboxing video, and it was like they dropped it out of an airplane or something.
Yes.
I've had that problem where they send beer and it's all broken up. But
yeah, and then Brian got his beer mail from Drunken One last week, and he did an unboxing video. You got to watch it just to look at it was even in worse shape than my box was. And then the package from Drunken One that he sent USPS to me, I never got it. I looked on the United States Postal Service site. It just said failed delivery. And then when you look at the details, it said no access to address, will reattempt on next delivery day. This was back on June 7th, and there's been no further updates on the package since that day. And when I call them, they can't seem to tell me what happened. So
I don't put the little slip in your box, and you can go down to the post office and pick it up. That's weird.
Well, I don't think it ever made it to the post. It never made it to my address. It just says
that'll come
failed
FedEx
delivery.
or USPS, and I got your right address. But it's been 2.5 weeks, John. I'm not going to lie. It's been sitting by that door. I keep forgetting, and I'm so sorry.
Well, I wasn't expecting any more beer mail from you or a care package from you anyway. So this is when I get it, it'll be a nice little surprise.
Watch out, because the next time you ask him on Facebook, what about that package, he's going to block you, and then you won't be friends.
He's blocking.
Yeah.
I might tell you I opened it up, got desperate, and drank everything in it, but I ain't going to block you.
It's just amazing.
No,
It's amazing to me. It is amazing that people. It's amazing to me that people could be that deranged. You know, I mean, literally. First of all, why would you have this fixation to send people you don't know beer to drink? Y'all know each other. I'm not talking about that. Second,
I know what you mean, though. Yeah, yeah.
And secondly, you don't do it. It's like, why are you bothering people about what you're not willing to do? What, you thought I was going to send you money? I almost get the feeling that the people think I'm going to send them money to finance the shipment. And that is a fantasy of,
right.
You know, just be honest. Why do people have to lie? It takes you a month to send beer, and you're hedging your bet. You know, you're hee-hawing like, oh yeah, I was working on this, I was working on that. Come on, man. This is not the way to be a human being, okay? This is the way to be a failure in your life. And I'm sorry. That's the way I look.
Yeah, well. Yeah, it is a little strange when strangers. I've had beer mail sent to me from a couple of strangers, and it worked out pretty well. Like Jim Rudd, which I'm pretty sure he actually works at Founders. He sent me some Founders gear and the CBS glasses that I'm always drinking out of. So that was pretty cool. But and then of course, like a few breweries have sent me some beer to try and review on my channel. But it is a little strange when you get an email or a private message like, "Hey, can you send me your email or send me your address? I want to send you stuff." Because it's like, well, I don't know. Like thinking about it, I would never do that to somebody I didn't know. Like, hey, I like your channel. Let me send you some free stuff. But you know,
yeah. This is a guy.
Go ahead.
I'm Ronald Terrio. I'm not other Ronalds who interrupt everybody. Say a word. I say other Ronalds. That could be Ronald Reagan.
If you're not going to speak to what you're talking to, I'm going to talk.
That could be Ronald Huckleberry Hound. Oh no.
Here's another Ronald.
No. Okay. This is a guy. Keep it simple, stupid. Good vibes. Right. This is a guy who publicly says it on Alcohol Eggs. It's like, man, you're the world's champion poster. You post every beer in Great Britain on Alcohol Eggs. Okay, fine. That's interesting. I can't get the beers, but, you know, interesting. He says publicly, oh, man, I want to send you this beer. I said, well, you said it was terrible. Well, I want to see what you think about it. Okay. Shoot me a PM and I'll send it. You know, now you're thinking, I don't know about this. I said, well, don't go to, you know, I'm trying to weasel out of it, like by being nice, by saying, no, don't go to that trouble and expense. It's really not worth it. Oh, no, I insist. It's no trouble. It's no expense. Okay, you're saying it publicly anyway. That means later on when I call you out, that I don't feel bad about it because, you know, publicly. So then I'm sitting here at my house right now. Here it is, June 13th. Am I looking at Tenants beer? Where's the Tenants? I heard how bad it was. Well, I don't know. I got a feeling I'm not going to be reviewing that beer. That's the kind of stuff that hacks me off. I'm sorry, Robert. You go ahead and talk.
Oh, I was just going to say, I did get drunk in once package. I opened it on, was it last Friday? Not this last Friday, but Friday before last on Alex's beer. I literally walked when Alex was doing his food thing on Fridays. I literally walked down to the thing and checked, and sure enough, that package was in there. So you're the only one I don't think that got it, John. That's kind of weird. George is weird.
Yeah. Well, I almost didn't get Brian's either. My neighbor got it, and they put it on my doorstep, but it was delivered to the wrong mailbox after Brian had already called USPS like 3 times because it was late. They couldn't find it. It got lost in the, somewhere. And he bugged the hell out of them until they located it. And then when it was finally delivered, it's delivered to the wrong address. And then when I finally got it, the box was so beat to hell.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Look what Jeremy says. Jeremy says, you get a beer mail for me when you come to my door.
You come over to the house. All right, Jeremy. That day may not be as far off as you think.
Uh-oh.
I need to
Blake,
take the heart out.
Margarita. Now, Blake, you're a vodka guy, so do you do vodka margaritas? How does that work?
Blake lives in the dry county, believe it or not. So you tell me how anything works. He got dry.
Well, now, when you say dry county, does it mean like me where I can't buy liquor or dry where you can't buy anything?
Shit. You can't buy beer. You can't buy shit. That's what that means.
They consider Coweta County dry county, but it's not a true dry county because you can still buy beer and wine. When I was growing up, though, dry county meant nothing. So you're saying he's a real dry county. He can't get nothing.
I think from what I've perceived, I mean, he's in the chat. He can correct us. But my perception was he has to drive like 40 minutes to get anything. So,
well, that's
not
just
in the
awful.
county where Jack Daniels is. That's a totally dry county in Tennessee.
That's right.
That's Tennessee. Tennessee's weird.
That's why there's no windows on the distillery or the room. That they take you in there and they get you, all schnockered up illegally, but nobody says anything because it's Jack Daniels.
Yeah, because there's a lot of money being fed right back to the county. There's a
lot of money being brought into that dry county from.
She said it was like it was like a bunker. She was shocked.
Right. They take you underground into some cave to let you sample the product.
For dry county, if you go into their room, they got the big room. When you go into Jack Daniels, they got another room off to the side to your left. If you go through that room, you can buy all the alcohol from Jack Daniels you want in that room. But it's a dry county, so you're like,
So Blake says
25 miles to get it.
50 miles round trip for him to get anything. That sucks, Blake.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Blake,
I'm
go around
about that.
You can walk around the corner and get it, but New York is pretty wide open.
Same as Kansas. Well, we don't got no liquor stores in my town because it's just too damn small. But you go to 8 miles up the road and you got a liquor store. You got 2 actually.
Robert, Brooklyn is big.
Oh, I never been there, but I'm real clear. I've been to New Jersey, and New Jersey, we've landed at Philly, drove across the bridge at Philly, and all I seen was nastiness from Philly to New Jersey. Time I got to Fort Dix, I was like, oh, this has at least got trees and woods. It doesn't stink. Right. It's pretty amazing.
Right. Well, you know what they say about New Jersey? New Jersey is the only state that you can smell from the next state over.
I never heard that, but I believe it. I've been there.
The petrochemical side of it is really bad. You're on the Jersey Turnpike and you have to close your windows and turn your air conditioning on. And I don't know if it really just filters it. You still can smell it.
Right.
It lessens the intensity.
But my theory is this: if it hadn't developed there, then we'd be smelling it here in New York City.
Yeah,
because it was going to come somewhere, right? You were going to get some petrochemical development somewhere. And it's weird. They are trying to clean up a little bit. There's less of it now than there was before. But I think that's partly because the demand for the product is not as high now as it was before.
Ronnie says New Jersey is New York's dumping ground.
That's probably fairly accurate.
I know that river we drove over looked deader than a damn. I mean, it looked dead. I looked out there across that river and I thought, oh my God, does anything actually live in that thing?
No, that's where all the bodies. That's where all the bodies the mob dumped are. You know, they're in that river.
It's full of cement shoes, huh?
Yeah. Right. A lot of guns.
How far are you
evidence?
From where Jeremy is in Arkansas? How far is Wichita from Little Rock? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I can make it to Little Rock probably about 4.5 hours. Depending on how fast I go. Oh, it is, but you got to be hauling ass, no stops. It's not
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours to East Oklahoma, and it's probably another 2.5, maybe 5 hours. Another 2.5 hours over to Little Rock. I can make it down to Mena. Last time I went down to Mena, Arkansas, it took me but you have to take so many little back roads through so many little twisty things, and it's all slow. I think it took 5 hours and 15 minutes last time I went to Mena, so I can make it 8 hours. So not 8. I make it to Louisiana in 9.5 hours, so I can make it to Jeremy at least in 7.
Okay.
Still a long drive.
Hey, we got Bart. We got Bart in the chat. I hadn't seen Bart in a while. He's got to defend New Jersey. I always forget he's from New Jersey. He lives in rural Salem County, and it's beautiful there. Nothing like up. So North Jersey is where all the crap is, I guess. Huh?
He lives close to where Alex, the beer man, lives.
Okay.
Not the beer man. Not the beer man.
Oh, okay.
The beer
Alex, the beer master. I'm sorry, Alex.
Thank you.
Well, according to how I spelled it that one time, it was Meister.
The Meister. Yeah.
He spelled it a little wrong one time.
Right.
The legendary Alex did that.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Well, guys, we have been going an hour, so I think it's time to wrap up this Stout Sunday. Just want to say thanks to everybody in the chat for keeping it interesting and making some great comments. Thanks to my illustrious panel, Michael Kormaroff, Ronald Terrio, and Robert the Whiskey Scout for joining me. I hope everybody has a great Sunday. I know that we'll all have a great rest of the Sunday because we get started off right here with these awesome stouts, 95.7 average people. So it's another successful Stout Sunday. So that'll do it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Until then, cheers, everybody.
Take care.
Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.
If it'll let me in the broadcast, my gosh, talk about a lag.